You're listening to the Chad Hasty Show on demand. Good for you. Now download the KFYO app and listen live weekday afternoons 5 to 7 p.m. Central.
Broadcasting from the great state of Texas, this is the Chad Hasty Show. News and views with a Lone Star perspective. You can sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Or call in at 1-800-687-0790. Now, here's Chad Hasty.
Good evening, Lubbock, Amarillo, Abilene, Wichita Falls, Midland, Odessa, Dallas, Fort Worth, down in Houston, over in El Paso, and anywhere else inside or outside the great state of Texas. Welcome in to the Chad Hasty Show. Little raspy voice today, as still getting over the cold. Not the same cold that Joe Biden had the night of the debate, but, just a little bit of a cold, the voice is a little shaky, but it's all good. We'll make it through the day, and then the rest of the week, we're going to rest the voice. We're going to rest the voice the rest of the week, be ready to go next week. We've got some best ofs ready for you the rest of the week, and some other great stuff. So that's going to be coming up the rest of the week here on the program, which, we got to say this. The Independence Day holiday, falling at the right time, Nick. Falling at the right time. We've got a lot to get into on the program. We've got the continued fallout from Joe Biden's horrible, terrible, no good, very bad debate performance in which he showed America who he really is. And the news media continues to feign surprise at who Joe Biden really is. We'll talk about that today on the program. We will also be getting into some of the other big topics of the day, including Hunter Biden getting involved in some of this. Got some SCOTUS decisions that we'll be talking about. Kamala Harris in the news as well. We've got some other Trump news to get into, and a interesting piece from Breitbart about the youngest children struggling mightily in schools now. So we've got all of that to get to on the program today. Of course, we're also going to talk about your Independence Day traditions. We want to know those as well. Your one of your running topics today, your favorite Independence Day traditions. What are you going to be on? What's going to be on the grill this weekend? What's going to be, what are you traveling to any July 4th parties or festivals? Are you going to be going to any parades? Are you going to be going to any fireworks shows? Do you hate fireworks? Do you love fireworks? We'll get into all of that throughout the program today. And, of course, whatever else you want to get into, it's kind of an open line Tuesday here on the program where anything you want to talk about, feel free to text in at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. You can, when you do text in, be sure to, give us a name. We want to know who you are. And we also like to know where you're from whenever you text into the show. You can also give us a call at 1-800-687-0790. The first voice you hear from when you dial in today, he's all about the sweater. Nick, the first voice you hear from. Nick, are you having a good day today?
I am having a good day. In fact, recently we posted a photo of our snack selection here at KFYO. We posted that on Facebook, and let me tell you, we got some mixed responses from that. Some positive. You know,
Yeah, these are really, this is your in your office, your snack stash that you have. That,
I'm open. I'm sharing though. It's for everyone.
Yeah, of course
Right,
it is. Yeah,
right,
it's
right.
open to everybody.
Right.
But these are the snacks that you collect,
Right.
that you bring in, open for everyone. Of course, as we heard from some people who work in the building, they did not know,
Yeah.
mainly because
Well,
they never traveled down this way.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really missing out. See, this is what they miss when
Right.
they don't come down to our little hovel
To the cool
here in
kids
the-
area.
Yeah. The cool corner.
Right.
Is what I call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if they stop by every once in a while, we've got everything an 8-year-old would want.
Yes.
We've got candy, Capri Sun.
Let's address this,
Yeah.
because I've got the picture here, and let's go through some of these snacks. And what I'd like to know from the listening audience today, this is your other running topic. What are some good business? What are some good office snacks?
Right.
Good office snacks. What are they? Because here's what Nick's got. He's got some of the Welch's fruit snacks.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Those are good.
Yep.
You've got raisins, which I think these are the same raisins that you've had in there for like the last few months.
And that's a testament to now I know.
Nobody
not a
likes
lot of people-
raisins.
Hey, when I got it though,
Yeah.
there were 6 boxes. I believe there are 3. So sometime.
So somebody took
3
them.
boxes have gone missing. So I'm assuming that people ate them and
Yeah.
enjoyed them.
Okay. So somebody took them.
Yeah.
But okay. So you've got 3 boxes left.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got some granola bars, it looks like.
Everyone loves granola bars. See,
Okay.
a granola bar, that's a universal snack,
Is it?
right? You can eat it whenever you want. Late night snack. You're on a hike. You're preparing for a meeting,
It's a Nature Valley
That it is.
granola bar.
Yeah. I have 2.
Yeah.
See, I have a variety. I've got the peanut butter or the oats and honey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you've got just some goldfish bags, like the
In
little
a-
bags of goldfish.
In an incorrectly labeled
in
box.
a Frito-Lay box. You've got goldfish. You've got some Cheeto bags in there. You've got, but you've got a mix of
Right. It's a medley.
some crackers,
A medley,
some crackers
a cracker
in there.
medley. Right.
Sure.
Right.
Then you have, I think you raided Sonic and got some of their mints.
Yeah, it's a secret. Don't tell them.
Yeah, you got some of that.
Yeah.
Then you've got the crackers and cheese. Is that what this?
So it's the crackers and cheese, but it's also, I believe the brand is Austin's.
Yeah.
You also have the crackers and peanut butter. So it's like those saltine crackers, with the
Yeah.
peanut butter in between. Very good.
It just looks like I need a large bottle of water
Oh yeah.
whenever I look at those.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're very dry.
Yeah.
Very dry.
And then, just in case you're thirsty, you have some non-cold Capri Suns.
Exactly. That's exactly what I have.
Now, the Capri Suns,
Yeah.
I have not had a Capri Sun since maybe elementary school.
Yeah. So
That was probably the last time I had a Capri Sun. And I see they really have not changed the Capri Sun.
no. Hey, why would you? Why
Yeah.
why change perfection?
Now, are you someone who enjoys a Capri Sun
No.
from time to time?
No. I don't you know what's funny?
Yeah.
Of all of those snacks there,
Yeah.
I have had the goldfish crackers.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't partake of my own.
Now, somebody up here had a Capri Sun because I saw one in a trash can.
I know who it was. It's a secret.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll come back and take another one.
Yeah, I assume it was Amy
Yeah, it was Amy.
who had the Capri Sun.
It was
It
Amy,
was
yeah.
probably very excited.
Oh, she was very thrilled.
about the Capri Sun.
Actually, she had 2.
Yeah.
So take
Look at
that. Yeah. 2 Capri Suns.
Now, are they
And-
still difficult to stab?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of their trademark. You can't call yourself a Capri Sun package without having to miss a few times.
Yes.
Stabbing the straw.
Yeah.
In and then you end up breaking the straw at some point.
Yeah.
It's part of the fun.
Now
part
you
of the
just
charm.
grab the knife and you just
as
you cut it.
adults.
Right. Yeah.
We all just get our knives out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, we want to know from everybody. One, you posted on the KFYO Facebook page asking people to rate the snacks. I'm just going to go through some of these, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to go through, maybe all of them. I don't know. Well, we'll see. You had Brandon, who said this ranks as a 3.
Are you just going to read the?
No.
Okay.
No. Elizabeth, who went 6.5.
Yeah, above average. That's okay.
A listener who just said, "Where's the chocolate?"
Straight to the point.
Yeah. A listener who ranked it as 2. A listener who ranked it as a 5.
Okay.
A solid 4. Curly weighed in, said it was pretty lame, and that he had seen local panhandlers with better.
Yeah, a little harsh. Still a little raw from that one. But,
yeah, Lori said 0, straight junk, which I would disagree with on that. Then you got a 7.5.
Hey, there you go.
Then an 8.78, which
Whoa.
is very, very, right in,
Yeah.
very technical.
Yeah.
Let's see, another Where's the Chocolate? 8, 1.7. Then you got a 10.
There it is.
I think that was
waiting
a
for the 10,
bot.
Yeah.
I think that's a bot.
Yeah, probably. Must be.
And then a 6 to 7, slightly above average, but there's some variety. And then 9. You got a 9 in there because there was no beef sticks.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, I do have beef sticks.
Yeah.
But that's in my personal stash,
Ah.
aside from the KFYO stash. So I got to keep those separated. I don't want anyone taking my own snacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A texter said, good office snacks for work, especially where I work. I would prefer vodka and orange juice. That's
Well, maybe next week. We'll see.
that's a Friday snack up here,
No.
actually.
Yeah, vodka,
That's,
great snack.
Yeah, exactly. 1-800-687-0790, your favorite office snacks. You can weigh in. Also, your favorite Independence Day traditions. What do you like to do on Independence Day? What do you like to cook out? Do you like fireworks? All that kind of good stuff when we come back. Your phone calls and more.
Sometimes I feel I've got to.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune in on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock, News Talk 940 in Amarillo, News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene, and in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Speeding tickets aren't cheap, and they can make your insurance rates go up too. So if you don't remember anything else from this commercial, remember this: slow down or pay up. Also, if law enforcement pulls you over for speeding, they'll check your license and registration. So be ready for that. Basically, if you ever wonder if speeding is worth it, the answer is pretty obvious. No way. Speeding is dangerous and expensive. So slow down or pay up. Be safe, drive smart. A message from TxDOT.
All right, welcome back to the Chad HD Show. Appreciate you tuning in today. Texture weighing in. Looks like a blood donation snack. Yeah, that's a very good point. If you've ever donated blood before, you basically walk out and you go to Nick's office, and that's where you get replenished after donating blood. Nick, is that where you drew inspiration from? Was donating blood, and you went, these look like good snacks. This is exactly what the people want. Now, you've been challenged by many on the social media to put chocolate in your office. What do you say to that? Yay or nay to chocolat?
See, I'm a man of the people.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone knows that. So,
You're a populist, yes.
Yeah. So, if that's what the people want,
That's what they're demanding.
well, who am I? Who am I to deny
Yeah.
what the people want? So, yeah,
Yes.
we'll do chocolate.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Texture. I personally love fireworks and miss setting them off on my own, but now I have dogs. Now, see, I've got one dog, and maybe it's just because she's old. I don't know. She doesn't care. The other dog, as long as she's in her safe space, which can be in our kennel, it can be next to either myself or my wife under a bed, she's fine. So I'm lucky that we don't have dogs that just absolutely freak out when it comes to fireworks. We're lucky on that. And the only reason I know that is because when we had neighbors, fireworks would be going off for at least a week, over the Independence Day week. You would have fireworks beforehand and afterwards, and then of course on Independence Day you would have fireworks. And the dogs seemingly did not care too much. So we lucked out in that department. But again, it's one of those where obviously it's illegal to set off fireworks in your neighborhood. If you live in a city, it is illegal to set off fireworks. You're not allowed to do so. But don't expect the police to do much about it. And I know the police hate it when I say that, but it's absolutely true. Just look around at the neighborhoods on Independence Day. That night, just look in the air, see how many fireworks are going off, and see how many police are responding to your situation. Now, at least here in Lubbock, they don't even want you to call. They don't want you to even call the police. They just say submit it online. If you have a complaint about somebody shooting off fireworks, just go online, fill out some paperwork. Yeah, they'll eventually get to it. They'll eventually get to that complaint and go, well, let's go see what's going on. Could be hours later. They've got more important things to do. 806-680-2790. So Hunter Biden, this out of the New York Post, Hunter Biden has now joined the West Wing meetings after Joe Biden's disastrous debate. Says that he does not trust White House aides. The first son and crack addict, Hunter Biden, has been joining in West Wing meetings with his father since the president returned to the White House on Monday, as the oldest ever sitting president resists calls from fellow Democrats to step aside. Hunter, who was convicted on June 11th of 3 federal gun felonies, scheduled for a second federal trial September 5th for $1.4 million in alleged tax fraud, is an advocate of his 81-year-old dad continuing to seek a second term, as the Biden family reportedly blames longtime advisors for the president's dismal Thursday debate performance. Quote, Hunter doesn't trust his father's old guard of aides, said one source to the Post. The Hunter wants to be there, and POTUS isn't going to say no. So you've got Hunter Biden and you've got Jill Biden. These two people who are clinging to power, and they don't want Joe to go anywhere. Of course, Hunter doesn't want Daddy to go anywhere because he may be convicted of multiple other crimes that Dad can eventually get rid of. So of course, Hunter doesn't want Daddy to go anywhere. But they don't care about his health. Jill Biden wants to be on the cover of Vogue. She wants to be famous. She wants to be in the spotlight. Neither of these two people care about the actual health and well-being of Joe Biden. I mean, this is it's very selfish what they're doing. And they're going to end up costing him the election. They're going to end up costing the Democrats the election. And to say that the Democrat aides who have been longtime aides of Joe, that you can't trust them, but you need to trust Hunter and you need to trust Jill. Again, go back and watch previous debate performances. Go back and watch previous speeches from Joe Biden. It's not the AIDS. It's not. It's not. The fault of his advisors. Joe doesn't have it anymore. Go back and watch the VP debates between Joe Biden and Paul Ryan. Forget about substance. Don't concentrate on policy. Just watch the debate. Joe Biden has it together during that time. Joe Biden hasn't lost his mind during that time. You compare that to what we see today, and he's a shell of himself. But you see, his family, they don't believe they can trust the aides close to the president. Probably because the aides close to the president know that Joe Biden has absolutely lost his mind. When we come back, your phone calls, your text messages, and much more.
The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays 5 to 7 p.m. Sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. The U.S. Vietnam War commemoration honors the service, valor, and sacrifice of those who served during the Vietnam War. It also thanks the 7 million living Vietnam veterans and the families of all 10 million who served from 1955 to 1975. To recognize the service of Vietnam veterans, visit VietnamWar50th.com.
The news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO. You're listening to The Chad Hasty Show.
All right, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. 1-800-687-0790. You can text in at 806-680-2790. Your Independence Day plans, your Independence Day traditions that you like to do. Do you like to set off fireworks? Do you like to grill out? What will you be doing this Independence Day and Independence Day weekend? That is quickly coming up. You can text in at 806-680-2790. Rick in Lubbock responding, I personally don't want skilled patrol officers responding to firework calls to scold and cite the ones that they catch. There are fireworks going off all over town. It's a waste of resources when there are drunk drivers, home break-ins, traffic accidents, etc., etc. I wish people would stop giving LPD a hard time about it. That from Rick in Lubbock. The text line you can weigh in on 806-680-2790. Let's see, a couple of folks have weighed in with their favorite office snacks, beef jerky. So a lot of beef jerky fans out there and proponents. You can text in at 806-680-2790. 2790. That's 806-680-2790. Let's see some other news today. This has made some statewide Democrats very upset. Democrat Congressman Lloyd Doggett calling on Biden to withdraw from the presidential race. This is out of the Texas Tribune. U.S. Rep. Lloyd Doggett out of Austin called on Biden to step down as his party's nominee for the White House on Tuesday, citing the president's poor performance at the debate last week against Trump. Quote, President Biden has continued to run substantially behind Democrat senators in key states and in most polling has trailed Donald Trump. Doggett said in a statement Tuesday, I had hoped that the debate would provide some momentum to change that. It did not. Instead of reassuring voters, the president failed to effectively defend his many accomplishments and expose Trump's many lies. Again, Doggett during this, looking here, didn't seem to name any of these accomplishments that Joe Biden has reportedly, according to him, made. Quote, I believe there are stronger options out there for Democrats. We have a stable of folks who could do a better job, including Vice President Kamala Harris. That was Julian Castro who said that. Pardon me. But he was echoing Castro's statements on that. Doggett, the first Democrat member of Congress to call for Biden to withdraw from the ticket since the debate. U.S. Rep. Dean Phillips out of Minnesota ran a challenge against Biden in the Democrat primaries, but has stayed muted since the debate. And again, I think you're going to see more of this over the next few days. You're going to see more and more of these Democrats come out and say it's time for Joe to go. You keep seeing editorials. There's one today in the Washington Post directed right at Jill Biden, saying, hey, Jill, for the good of the country, it's time to go away. If you care about the country, which, by the way, she doesn't. Remember, Democrats can't stand this country. They want to totally redo this country. So this idea that they love the country and they don't want to do anything that would harm the country, that stands in direct opposite of what they actually want to do. So the idea that she would tell Joe that it's time to step aside out of love for this country is, well, that's not going to happen. Just simply will not happen because of her love for the country. Biden's performance during last Thursday's debate has alarmed Democrats in Texas who are facing a number of competitive races down ticket, including for U.S. Senate. Still, Democrats across the party's big tent have largely stopped short of calling for his withdrawal. I think you're going to see it, though. I think you're going to see more of it. Quote, I respect Representative Doggett's position, but it's one I don't share, said U.S. Rep. Sylvia Garcia, Democrat out of Houston. I'm supporting Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and will work to get them reelected. Now, there have been some editorials coming out pushing for Kamala Harris to take the reins and to be the Democrat who takes over this race. But if you look at any poll that's out there, Democrats don't want Kamala. She's not popular at all. In fact, she actually polls below Joe. So the idea of Kamala Harris taking over and winning the nomination, I don't see that. I don't see that happening. Obviously, you would have some pushing for that. But Kamala Harris, in any poll that's been done, gets nowhere near Donald Trump. And if you're the Democrats, the only real reason to make the move is if you can find somebody who you really believe can beat Trump. And I don't think there are many Democrats who believe that Kamala Harris can beat Donald Trump. There might be some who are just blinded by the Democrat label, but that's about it. 806-680-2790. You can send in your thoughts on the text line, 806-680-2790. Also, get in on the app chat. If you're listening to us on your station's app, you can always send us a message that way. When we come back, we'll get into a few other topics, your phone calls, your text. And what about Michelle Obama? Any new polling data on her? We'll get to that when we come back.
Train I ride, 16 coaches long.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio, Chad Hasty.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Hasty Show podcast. The Chad Hasty Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page at kfyo.com. The Chad Hasty Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Mama, what does the chicken say? Dog. Cat. Giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/
the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Mama told me when I was young.
All right, back on the Chad HD Show.
Sit beside me.
You can send in your thoughts on the text line, 806-680-2790. Texter, the Republicans need to shut up and keep biting on the ticket. I want to see the Dems implode. That is it's a real risk. I've seen a lot of people who have either tweeted out or posted on social media, everybody just shut up. Just let Joe keep talking. Just let him keep going. This is the best thing that can happen for Donald Trump. The best thing that can happen for the Republicans is that that Joe continues to look like the guy he is. And politically, I mean, that is the right view. But you do have to talk about all options. I mean, it was so obvious, so painfully obvious to everyone except maybe those in the Biden family that this guy just doesn't have it together. And quite frankly, if he is reelected, he presents a national security risk. And I'm not joking. This guy cannot be president of the United States. And if he's reelected, that just means it goes to Kamala Harris. And she gets to become president without really going through an election. I mean, what this election is really all about is stopping Kamala Harris from becoming president. You got Chip Roy out there who is really pushing for the 25th Amendment, and I disagree with that push only because I think Kamala Harris she would be a much dangerous president. Joe is dangerous in his own way. But, you know, at this point in time, as close as we are to an election, throwing out the 25th Amendment, I don't think is the the right thing to do. I think people need to wise up and see that this man cannot be president of the United States. He does not have the facilities to be president of the United States, to be the commander in chief. Now, you may not like Donald Trump, and you may think that he's a liar. But when you look at Joe, he does not have what it takes to be president. He just doesn't. He is a national security risk, and if elected, he should be considered a risk for national security. He should not be the guy who's in control of our military. And I'm not even talking about policy. Do you really want Joe Biden? Well, let me put it this way. Forget about names. Forget about policies for a second. The guy that you saw on stage opposite of Donald Trump, even if he was the most conservative of Democrats or the most conservative lawmaker that we've ever seen, do you want him answering the phone at 4 a.m.? Do you want him in high-pressure situations where he's got to think quickly, that he's got to make all these decisions that go into being a president, being a commander-in-chief? That's the guy? Is that who you want? Is that who you really trust to keep this country safe? And I don't know how anyone can honestly say yes. And so this becomes about Kamala Harris being the next president if Joe wins. Maybe he stays on for a year. Maybe he stays on for 2 years, but that's really it. He's done. It'll be the Kamala Harris show, and God help us. She doesn't have dementia, but when it comes to policy, she's just as bad, if not worse, than Joe. She would absolutely just derail this nation. And again, her polling numbers are worse than Joe's. So, Republicans are going to have to attack this in a couple of different ways. If Joe Biden is the nominee, they're going to have to attack both Joe and Kamala Harris, because one of them, possibly both of them, would be president in the next 4 years if elected. And that's something that Donald Trump is going to have to point out. That's something that Republicans are going to have to point out and remind people that this isn't just about Joe. See another text. If Republicans don't hammer Joe, then he becomes more likely to beat Trump. While I think leaving Biden in place makes Trump almost a lock, I feel like picking a new Democrat candidate much later than today is almost just as beneficial. There's no way they can pick someone that all Democrats can rally around this late. No matter who they pick, lots of Democrats will be upset that their favorite wasn't chosen. I slightly disagree with that. If Donald Trump was new, if this was Donald Trump 8 years ago, then I would say, yeah, you're probably right. But everybody knows Donald Trump. And what the Democrats have to do, if they find somebody, is just find somebody who can energize the base. Remember, Democrats are really good about coming together. Republicans are terrible about it. Republicans are horrible about coming together. Just look at the state legislature. Republicans are terrible about coming together and getting stuff done. Democrats and Democrat voters, if the Democrat message is, hey, Gavin Newsom is the guy who can stop Donald Trump, they may actually be able to do it. They may actually be able to get close. Remember, Hillary was not very well liked by all Democrats. Hillary was not very well liked, and she got pretty close. She got too close. But she didn't campaign in some, in some areas that she needed to campaign in, and she really took the race for granted, and Donald Trump kicked her butt. But it wasn't a blowout by any means. So if you get somebody who is a relative unknown, but somebody who is younger, somebody who is the fresh face of the Democrat Party, remember, you don't have to rally 50 states against Donald Trump. If you're the Democrats, you've got to aim at 6 swing states. It can be done. When we come back, your phone calls, your text, and much more.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of the Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media. Broadcasting from the great state of Texas, this is The Chad Hasty Show. News and views with a Lone Star perspective. You can sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Or call in at 1-800-687-0790. Now, here's Chad Hasty.
Welcome back to the second hour of the Chad Hasty Show, final hour of the program. A little scratchy voice today, but it's okay. It's hanging in there. It's hanging in there. Going to take the next few days, and we'll have some best ofs for you to enjoy. And hopefully you'll have a great Independence Day weekend. That's coming up. A lot of people taking some vacation time, going out of town, and just enjoying their summer. You can send in your thoughts on the text line 806-680-2790. Asking you a couple of running topics today. The first one in honor of Nick, and the snacks that he has acquired in his office that he does share. And we posted this on social media and had people rate just how good the snack stash was. And it was all over the place. You had some people who loved it. You had a lot of meh. And you had some haters, Nick. So we ask you, what is the best office snack? You know, what is it exactly that is the best office snack? You can text in at 806-680-2790. We've also been asking you today what your Independence Day traditions are. What do you like to do on Independence Day or Independence Day weekend? Do you like to gather with friends and family? Do you like to do fireworks? Do you like to go out to a parade? What is it that you like to do on Independence Day? Or maybe you don't like to do it, but you're dragged kicking and screaming to go and do it. Now, Nick, what do you like to do on Independence Day? Are you a big firework guy? Are you I don't really care about this, I'm just leave me alone, I'm going to stay inside guy? What do you do?
I would say my plans are based off of opportunity
Yes.
at the time.
Okay.
So I don't really plan on a lot of big things. But if if I'm going over to a friend's house, or in fact, one of my best memories of 4th of July was. A friend of mine has a very big plot of land, huge land.
Yes.
And in fact, it borders with their neighbor, who they're very close friends with. So
Very nice.
They kind of combine.
Ooh.
So we have like a really big fireworks celebration.
I
And so,
like that.
yeah, my favorite thing is the eerie haze that floats after like 30 minutes of lighting fireworks.
Sure.
It's just like a thick fog that rolls in of that lovely smoke.
Yes.
But it's great. It's a lot of fun. People would always invite their friends, and it's like a big family thing, and
Yeah.
so that's always fun. But I don't plan those myself.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing this year. Is we're going to be gathering with family, and maybe some friends are going to come over. Not sure, but we're going to be combining the two lands and setting off a bunch of fireworks.
Yeah.
So it'll be our own personal fireworks show.
Are you gonna cook out and do food as well?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. I've heard there's at least one brisket that's going to be done.
Anything bacon wrapped that you're gonna have?
Well, yeah, I'm going to do the little firecrackers. I'm going to try those.
Oh, you're actually gonna do those?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yesterday I thought you were just
No.
bringing those up.
No, I'm going to try. I'm going to try and I'm going to try that new recipe.
Yeah.
That's out there. So I'm going to try those, and then I've got. We may do some burgers. Some who knows.
The staples.
We
Staples
just
of 4th of July.
whenever our family gets together, and we're doing food, we're cooking out. It's just way too much food. We overcook. We never undercook. It is. People could come by for days afterwards, I'm sure, and have leftovers.
But that's one of the best things about cooking.
Yeah.
Is the leftovers. You get to enjoy it twice. It might be a day later, but your meals are planned.
Yeah.
For even if they're your plan Z for dinners, hey, you got something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. At least one brisket, maybe more than that, and then we'll see. We'll see what else we can come up with. I have no idea.
Yeah. It's also some people like to plan ahead. I'm more of a roll with the flow.
Yeah.
Go with the flow type of
it's like we have a basic idea
right
of what we're going to do, and then between tomorrow and July 4th, we will figure out who's in charge of what food-wise.
And clean up, the best part.
Well, yeah. You've got that. But, it's mainly, hey, what are you going to cook? And then what else are you cooking?
Yeah.
Because that's basically between the two, like where we're going. We basically have access to about 6 grills and smokers. So
it's a lot of briskets right there.
There's a lot of food that's going to be cooked. Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of food that's going to be out there.
Well, it sounds like you're going to have a lot of people too. So hopefully.
Exactly.
Hopefully it balances out.
You may need to swing by.
Yeah, maybe.
You may need to swing by.
I could man a grill myself.
You could do that and try some bacon wrapped turkey legs or something.
Maybe, or your Twizzler sparklers, whatever you said.
We don't have any Twizzler sparklers.
Firecrackers.
We don't have any of that.
Whatever you just said.
The firecrackers.
Is that what they are? Yeah.
Yeah, and those for those who may not know, at least what I'm going with the recipe that I found, they're your cocktail weenies that you would normally put in barbecue sauce or maybe a pig in a blanket. You would wrap this in bacon. You cut the bacon into three separate deals, so it's small bacon, and you wrap them up in bacon, and then you put a little brown sugar, you put a little red pepper flakes, and a little bit of sweet and
honey, right?
A little honey, sweet. Right? I've got a little bit of a hot honey sauce that I have from Meat Church that I would put on there. Yeah. It's not sauce, but it's a rub that I would throw on there.
It sounds like you're going to be the hit of the, I don't know, two neighbors between the two of you.
I don't know. Again, I have no idea how these are going to turn out.
No.
It's first time doing it, so we'll see what happens. But that's That's what I'm looking forward towards, is trying something a little bit new. May also do some burgers. Yeah, we'll see. 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Another texter. Chip Roy is right. 25th Amendment now makes Harris the incumbent running against Trump. He can beat her easier than Joe. Maybe he can. Again, almost anyone new does worry me more than Joe. Right now, I'm feeling really good with Trump versus Joe Biden. And I'm not saying that's a guarantee. I'm not saying it's a slam dunk that Trump's going to run. I'm just telling you, I feel really good about Trump versus Biden at this point. If I'm the Democrats, I'm not feeling real good at all. If I put Kamala Harris in there, even though she doesn't poll well right now, I think she could still fire up some Democrats that are just wanting to sit this one out. And I think there would be a few Democrats that could do that. Now, we had one texter who said there's one Democrat that could unite them, and that I think they were alluding to Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama does poll very well. I don't think that would continue at least in a dominant way over Trump if she were to get into the race. And I don't think she will. I don't see Michelle Obama getting into the race. I think Democrats wish it. I think Democrats hope that Michelle would jump in, but I don't see that. I see it being either Kamala Harris, maybe Gavin Newsom, Hillary Clinton, Pete Buttigieg, maybe. Although I'm a little doubtful that the Democrats would try on right now with Pete Buttigieg. There's some other Democrats that are out there, and the smart thing for Democrats is to go and find someone who isn't a lightning rod. Go and find someone who isn't well known, and put them up as the nominee, because there would be less time for Republicans and for Trump to really campaign against this person. You put up Gavin Newsom, the ads almost write themselves immediately. But you go and find a no-name, it might be a little bit harder. 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. When we come back, your phone calls, your text, and more.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune in on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock, News Talk 940 in Amarillo, News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene, and in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone.
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
But treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
It was an early morning yesterday. I was up before the dawn, and I really have enjoyed my stay, but I must be moving on. Like a king without a castle, like a queen without a throne, I'm an early morning lover.
Welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. Donald in Amarillo. It's hard to imagine that man is in incompetent stand trials, competent to lead the Democrat Party. Let's see, another text coming in. If let's see on the here we go. If Gavin Newsom runs, how would his lies stick up to some of the biggest liars that have ever run for president? Let me tell you something. Gavin Newsom can lie with some of the best of them. And people like him. I mean, he's got that likability factor among independents that they love the guy for whatever reason. Again, he has continued to drive California into the dumpster. Now, I love what Trump says about California is that California, I mean, it should have everything going for it. You hear Trump talk about California, you can tell that he loves California. And he talks about the weather and the beaches and just everything that California has going for it. But it's a dumpster fire. Policy-wise, tax-wise, it's absolutely horrendous. People shouldn't be fleeing California. People should be moving to California in droves. But because of the policies from these psycho Democrats in California, they have left it as a state that, a lot of people just want to leave. They got to flee. They got to get out as soon as they can. And it's really sad because California is a beautiful state. It's a wonderful place, except for the policies of the Democrats. I mean, if you could, imagine, pardon me, imagine if you had a Ron DeSantis take over California and get California, righted and really going, and taxes were being slashed and people could afford to live in California. Imagine that. Imagine the powerhouse. I mean, it already is a powerhouse, but imagine just how much bigger California could be under the right leadership if they had a Republican governor, if they had someone like a Ron DeSantis leading California. It'd be amazing. But instead, they've got all these lefty policies that continue to hurt the citizens of California and drive people out of California, moving to Texas in droves and other parts of the country. And they can easily afford homes in other states because they've made so much money in California, and the cost of living in all these other places is so much cheaper than it is in California. Just imagine, under the right leadership, how California could be. But people keep electing the politicians like Gavin Newsom. 806-680-2790. You can send in your thoughts on the text line. Weigh in on any of the topics that we've been getting into today. See a couple other. Here we go. Forgot to get to this one earlier. The Supreme Court, at least for now, turning away challenges to state bans on assault-style weapons. The Supreme Court Tuesday rejected challenges to Illinois' ban on a quote-unquote assault-style weapons, punting for now on the question of whether the ban is allowed under a controversial new test for gun restrictions. The court was asked to block the Illinois ban while multiple challenges to the state's law are litigated. The justices declined to take the case, Justice Samuel Alito said he would have taken the appeals. Justice Clarence Thomas said the court was, quote, rightly wary of stepping in at this stage. Thomas did say, I hope that we will consider the important issues presented by these petitions after the cases reach final judgment. Hannah Hill, director of the Legal Affairs for National Association of Gun Rights, said the group's challenges will continue and will outlast both the gun grabbers and the Supreme Court's procedural reticence. "Quote, my heart breaks for the people of Illinois," she said on social media. Gun rights advocates argue the ban violates a recent Supreme Court decision that requires gun restrictions to be grounded in the nation's history. Quote, this court needs to intervene before this open defiance spreads further. 10 states and the District of Columbia ban some type of assault-style weapons. Others limit large-capacity magazines. Officials in Illinois said there's a tradition of reserving especially dangerous weapons for the military and law enforcement. The Illinois ban bans the sale of certain semi-automatic rifles and pistols, as well as high-capacity magazines. State officials have said that such firearms are weapons of choice for mass shootings because they allow many rounds to be fired without reloading. And so this will go back before the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court has twice declined to get involved at earlier stages of this dispute over the Illinois gun ban. I think they need to jump in as soon as possible. People's rights are being denied in Illinois. They're being denied in other states. And I think the Supreme Court needs to jump in and protect people's rights to have a firearm. Again, Second Amendment allows you to have these guns, to have these firearms. And the Second Amendment does not say you cannot have a high-capacity magazine. Doesn't say what you can or cannot have. It says you have the legal right to bear arms. Right? That's what it says. And in my opinion, I know I'm a little crazy on this maybe for some people, but I believe if the military has it, you should be able to own it as well if you can afford it. We'll be right back.
Call in to the Chad Hasty Show at 1-800-687-0790. The Chad Hasty Show, broadcasting on the Texas Town Square Media Network. Today's markets from the Texas Department of Ag.
Well, howdy, neighbors. Texas feeder catalogs were closed for the holiday. Cattle futures were up. August live cattle futures up 83 cents to close at 185.10. August feeder cattle futures up $3.73 to close at 261 a dime. July cotton futures were down, closed at 69.33. July wheat futures down 9 cents, closed at 5.93 a bushel. July corn up 4 pennies, closed at 4.02. And July soybean futures up a nickel, closing at $11.65 a bushel. July soybean meal futures up $3.20, closed at $368.90 per ton. June Class 3 milk futures up a penny, closed at $19.90 a hundred. August crude oil futures down 40 cents, closed at $82.98 a barrel. And the Dow Jones up 162 points to close at 39,331. And that's a market roundup from the Texas Department of Agriculture. I'm your commissioner, Sid Miller. And remember, everyone, have a happy 4th of July. So,
the news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO. You're listening to The Chad Hasty Show.
All right, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. Appreciate you being out there today. You can send in your thoughts on the text line 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. The folks over at Breitbart have a story about the New York Times running with the piece, youngest children during the pandemic now struggling in school. This really should not surprise anybody at all. After the government ordered lockdowns during the coronavirus pandemic, which sequestered Americans in their homes, shut down schools, caused mass business closures, and various mental health crises, children who were babies and toddlers are now, quote, academically and developmentally behind, according to the New York Times. The Times, which was pro-school shutdowns and pro-mask for young children during the pandemic, interviewed more than 24 teachers, pediatricians, and early childhood experts to conclude that the complete upending of society during the pandemic did, in fact, harm young children, leaving them struggling. Moving forward, the experts cited in the report depicted a generation less likely to have age-appropriate skills, to be able to hold a pencil, communicate their needs, identify shapes and letters, and even manage their emotions or solve problems with peers. Quote, I definitely think children born then have had a developmental challenge compared to prior years, said Dr. Jamie Peterson, a pediatrician at Oregon Health and Science University, whose research on kindergarten readiness. We asked them to wear masks, not see adults, not to play with kids. We really severed those interactions, and you don't just get that back, that time back for kids. The Times noted that while negative effects of the pandemic and school closures on older children are well documented, the impacts on children who had not yet gone to school are in some ways surprising. Researchers told the Times they pointed out that young children whose early years are most critical for brain development have been affected by parental stress, less exposure to people, and lower preschool attendance and more screen time than that occurred during the pandemic. Joel Ryan, who works with the network of Head Start and state preschool centers in Washington State, said the youngest children represent a pandemic tsunami headed for the educational system in the U.S. Ryan said he has seen an increase in speech delays and behavioral problems. Now, the New York Times can act surprised by this, and some of these doctors and researchers can act surprised by this. But are you? You shouldn't be. We talked about this numerous times on the show. We talked about this numerous times about the pandemic, that the pandemic and the decisions made by lawmakers were going to harm children. They harmed adults. The decisions made to lock people away and to keep everyone separated, I really do believe caused more stress, caused more harm, and maybe even led to more death than if we all just would have gotten together and had one big ass party. The fact that so many people spent time alone, so many people were separated from their families, so many people who were in nursing homes were separated from their families and told, you can't hug anybody, you can't touch anybody, you can't have any human interaction. I believe it killed a lot of elderly people. I believe those decisions killed a lot of elderly people. I believe people lost mothers and fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers because of that decision. And people should still be furious about that decision. And I believe that for younger people, for children, those who are in school, those who were born about that time, it's going to harm those generations for a very, very long time. Who knows if everyone will be able to recover? And you still have children to this day. You still have young people who are freaked out about getting sick. And you know, they want to wear a mask because that's what they learned. That's what they were taught. That was what was imprinted on them. And if they go and hug somebody who is older, they may kill them because of their sickness that they have. We really screwed up a lot of people. And when I say we, I just mean governments. Screwed up a lot of people during COVID. And you'll never get an apology. You'll never get an apology from anybody. But these are things that we must remember moving forward. If nothing else, it has to be a learning moment for people in this country that it can never happen again, that we cannot separate people. We're not meant to be separated. We're not meant to be locked up and away from each other. We're not meant to give hugs through plastic coverings. Yeah, we're not meant to live that way. Now, you've got people who may not like to hang out with other people. You may have introverts. But that's different than just locking everyone up and saying, you can't see each other. No, you can't go to school. No, you can't see grandma and grandpa. No, grandma, grandpa, you can't see the grandkids. You can't do any of that. So, yeah, this country and other nations are going to suffer with this for a very, very long time. And the fact that you've got places like the New York Times and some of these researchers that want to act surprised by any of this. Listen, we talked about this numerous times, about how this was going to play out, about how this was going to harm so many people mentally. And again, the New York Times and others should not be surprised by any of this at all. Texter, lost my mom during COVID in a nursing home, could not go in and visit. I think she died of a broken heart, not understanding why we couldn't come in. And I hate hearing that. The only thing that, you know, maybe, hopefully she knew that it wasn't your choice. That you wanted to go in, that you wanted to be there. Hopefully she knew that. And I hate hearing stories like that because I know there were so many that were in nursing homes and in those facilities that probably had no idea. They didn't have any idea why family wasn't visiting or why family would just look at them through the window and wave. Another texter, a friend of mine in Kentucky, where they really locked down, recently told me that they got him, what got him the most was a solitude and confinement. He's a lifelong bachelor in his 60s, living alone, and said it was unbearable. I don't think he's the same person I used to know. Let's see. So many took the old approach of help. The paranoids are after me. Another text. Kim from the 806. Yes, we also said we will never forget 9/11. Now look where we are now. Oh, absolutely. Oh, and I guarantee you, we will be at the point shortly where people forget about the COVID deal. And I will say this. There are still many people who believe that we did the right thing by shutting everything down. I mean, 9/11 was universally condemned in the United States. I mean, everybody alive at that point hated what we went through during 9/11. If you were to go through and do polling today, I could almost guarantee you there would be at least 30 to 40% of this country who would have no problem locking down again, have no problem going into solitude, you have no problem doing the mask deal all over again if there was another pandemic. I really don't think that many people learned a lesson. I hope I'm wrong, but I really don't think that many people learned from what happened when we shut down the greatest economy on earth, shut down the greatest nation on earth, shut down businesses, shut down schools, shut down everything because of the flu. 806-680-2790. We'll be right back.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio, Chad Hasty.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Hasty Show podcast. The Chad Hasty Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page at kfyo.com. The Chad Hasty Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Veterans, do you wear glasses or use hearing aids? VA Healthcare may cover both of those for you at no or low cost. You may even be eligible for free dental care at one of VA's more than 200 dental clinics. Sign up at va.gov, call 1-800-MyVA411, or visit your nearest VA medical center.
Welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. As we begin to wrap things up, Kim, once again on the text line, I am seeing more masks again. If they're not listening outside their liberal media, then of course they didn't learn anything, which means they will never know the truth, and they are being controlled. God help us. 806-680-2790. Now, if you're not doing a little yard work, mowing the yard, you got a mask on, trying to protect yourself from the grass blowing around, that's okay. I'll give you that one. I see a lot of people doing that. Let's see. But if you're scared of the bird flu and the bird flu coming after you and you're wearing the mask, I don't think that's going to work out well for you. Let's see. You can send in your thoughts on the text line 806-680-2790. Let's see. Joe Biden will be doing an interview with ABC News and George Stephanopoulos for the first post-debate TV interview. He'll be doing this on Friday. And it'll air on Sunday. In other words, it will not be a live interview. Now, think about this. There's already so many questions about Joe. So now you've got ABC. And the thing to watch on this, if you watch the interview, in which I'm going to watch the interview because I'm going to be fascinated to see how they handle this. Because if CNN was in on it, if they're in on the game, then ABC News could be too. And what if they record this and they don't cut out any of Biden's senior moments? Right? What if they allow Joe to look bad in this interview? Stephanopoulos will interview Biden on Friday with the extended interview, as ABC News terms it, set to air Sunday on This Week and Good Morning America on Monday. The first portions of the interview will air on World News Tonight Friday evening, with more on the weekend editions of GMA. Another interview coup for the former Clinton aide and longtime ABC anchor. News of the sit-down comes as calls have become louder for the 81-year-old president to step aside from his rematch against Donald Trump. So, yeah, what if ABC News allows Biden to look bad? Now, it wouldn't surprise me either way. It would not surprise me if ABC goes in and does a lot of editing, trying to make Joe look good. That may have been one of the conditions that they accepted, that you have to make Joe look good. You have to do a lot of editing. Just like when the White House puts out a video of Joe Biden, there's all these edit cuts because he can't make it through a statement. Just watch and see how this plays out over the next few days. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your Independence Day weekend. Stay safe. Don't blow off any fingers or anything. Don't want that to happen. That'd be bad. Enjoy time with family and friends, and really give thanks to the greatest country on earth, because we are. Go back, read the founding documents, read the Declaration of Independence. Look back at a little history over the next few days and see what this country is really, really supposed to be about. Enjoy your evening. Follow me on social media. May God bless you all. We'll see you next time.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of the Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.